Mr. Kaepplein, come put your substitute in so we have something to talk about.
Mark Kaepplein, Precinct 7. I have a substitute motion.
Okay, don't put your hands down yet.
Go to the PowerPoint. It's easier to read.
Sayer. Schlick, I don't get him right yet. Fitz Smith stamps.
Yep. That was it.
Mark. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so Article 70 is to ask you to recommend to selectmen that they give residents a chance to express what they want for project goals for Mass Ave if they would like their services and transportation services cut on that road. And the next slide. So this is the substitute motion. Should 4 travel lanes as used for over 50 years on Massachusetts Avenue between the Cambridge City line and Pond Lane be reduced to 3 travel lanes. It was altered because the plan changed. It was going to only be 2 travel lanes in the western part near the center. As it is now, to encourage tourism, we have 1 lane headed into Arlington and 2 lanes headed into Cambridge. Again, I thought it's important to have open and honest communication. So I went before the selectmen and asked them to put a similar question on the ballot. They declined, so we ended up with 2 drinking questions and no driving question. There were a number of public hearings held, and most of them were in stealth and poorly advertised with little notice and few attendees. The goals of the project are not set, so they meet the needs of the majority of the population, and the greatest good is not produced, therefore. Citizens are the customers of government, and it's their job to do their best to serve us. The project plan doesn't satisfy the advertised goals. Other things seem safety is not the primary goal, because there are a number of safety features that could be added that are effective. Raised medians in particular are effective, whereas bump outs have no proven effectiveness, along with bike lanes over shared bike, wider outside lanes. So the count of how many residents want what has not been addressed. So the project has been sort of going on for 10 years. The first 5 of it was achieved federal funding in the 2005 safety bill, and Representative Markey was instrumental in that. The actual numbers from the hearings did a Freedom of Information Act to get the letters after the 25% hearing. There were just a little over 200 letters and emails on both sides. There was a petition of about 3,100 residents signed opposing 2 things, lane reduction and bump outs. EALS had a letter with 66 signatures, and there were 81 signatures of businesses against it. One later said they were confused and recanted. That's still over 70% of businesses who have great concerns about keeping the doors open. So what town data is there? Vision 2020 did a survey in their first year, and these are the results. They're in the annual report for 2002. The top important goal for residents was pedestrian safety, that something be done to improve that. Number 3 was congestion. Parking was above bike lanes, which was 14 out of 17 items. So even back then, if you look, that the goals of the project are not aligned with the desire of residents. Vision 2020 apparently didn't get the answers they wanted, so they stopped asking questions. And that's, I found this as a stock PowerPoint slide, so I just had to use it. So it's important that the public be involved in project development. So if you don't start with the right goals, you're not going to end up with a successful result. So again, a previous speaker was instrumental in paying out of his own pocket a mailing to advertise this, the 25% DOT hearing. Otherwise, again, many fewer people would show up, like other hearings. A couple other facts. So this is actually called an R2 resurfacing project for $5.8 million, and there's over $1 million of landscaping in it. The State Highway Department is in financial trouble, and the reason of projects like this, and they don't actually get to choose how money is spent. They're told by the planning organization how to, what projects are going to get funded and how much they're going to cost, and so that the DOT just has no power in the decisions. And what's been happening is the organizations that decide on the funding have an agenda to promote bike lanes. So anybody who has a project with bike lanes is going to get funding, and those without do not. And so bike lanes are not actually legally required. It's a secret agenda by a state organization. There's no other explanation, even if you read their materials. This is the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission and the Boston Metropolitan Planning Organization. They have wonderful visions. I don't know what they were smoking when they wrote them, but they're entertaining. I suggest you look online for them.
Staying a little far afield, sir.
Oh, sir.
In the smoking and secret agendas and the hissing from the crowd. Keep
I
going.
talked about drinking, too. So
Yeah.
Sorry.
Come on. Keep it civil.
So the reason for the vote is to find out what people want, and these are some of their concerns. Bike lanes are not required, just bike accommodation. 4 travel lanes fit. They can be safe. There aren't even statistics or calculations that have been given to residents on how much safety will be improved by the reduction in road movement and capacity. So we don't know what the trade-off is for an obvious one that 3 is less than 4. So Medford Street is a good example of how Lake Street area could be made safer and how traffic could be slowed. So in Medford Street, there's 2 schools there, there's businesses, bus stops, parking, everything you need. Currently, bicyclists, ones I've talked to who are quite skilled, they have no problem negotiating Mass Ave currently. And let's see. Oh, here we go. So other design factors. So Mass Ave is considered a major arterial. It's a state highway. It's a federal highway. It's a truck route, and it's one of the MBTA's top bus routes. The design guide warns about traffic calming, especially on arterials, can impede transit vehicles, so that's public transportation, can impede truck, and it can slow emergency response. So here's some boring details.
15 seconds.
So I would encourage you to endorse my article and have residents more frequently ask what they want rather than just impose it on them. Thank you.
Thank you.